There's all hey Keaton and Tim. Dad is here. Allie, Mom is here. Hi, family. Thanks
Hi.
for coming to visit with us today. Keaton, how you doing?
Good.
All right. How's school going?
Good.
All right. You're at Logan now.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "Wow, that's a big school." And you said, "Not really." How come? Why don't you think it's a big school?
I would not know, but
You're on one floor. You're not okay. But some of your classes are down on the second floor.
yeah.
Do you see the big kids or just kind of hang out in your own age group?
Hang out with my own age group.
Okay. What's your favorite thing about school?
Math.
You love math?
Yeah.
What do you think it is about that?
I don't know.
You just get it
yeah.
and you enjoy it.
Mhm.
All right. Well, you know what? We want to thank you for being here today. We already have 3 calls and we've
Yay.
barely started talking. Can you believe that? 3 people care a lot about you. At 608-784-KIDS, that's 784-5437. 3 calls already with Keaton, Dahl, and Mom. Mom, tell us a little bit. Can we just turn the clock back?
Sure.
You started noticing something going on with your son over here. What did you
Correct.
notice and when?
It started when he was 5 years old. We noticed that he would constantly tell us his foot hurt and he limped. At that age, we didn't really think that was normal. The turning point was he was goofing around with his uncle, and his uncle picked him up by his ankles, and he screamed bloody murder. At that point, I said, something's not right. I took him in to see his pediatrician. He was originally diagnosed with Lyme's disease and put on antibiotics for 2 weeks. Once that ended, over the summer, we noticed the same issues. Limping, not being able to play with his cousins, having to take breaks from playing, which when you're 5 years old, almost 6,
They don't
that
take breaks.
shouldn't happen.
Right.
It was at that age then that I had talked to one of the other doctors in the pediatric department and asked, what's going on? Something isn't right. They referred us to podiatry. In podiatry, we tried numerous different things. Insoles for his shoes. They put him in a walking cast for 6 weeks. When none of that worked, they said, we'll try to put in this arthresis screw, because what they had thought is he had a very flat foot and his ankle would collapse, and that was causing the pain. And we did the surgery and things were going well for about 6 months, and the pain started again.
I bet that broke your heart,
It
didn't it?
did.
Because you thought your little guy
you
here is
you put him
pain-free.
through a surgery and you think,
Right.
oh, this is going to help.
Right. Okay.
It didn't, so we saw another podiatrist. They gave us insoles for his shoes in hopes that that would help. Once again, it helped for a short time, and we saw the same things happening. We eventually went to the orthopedic department where we met with Dr. Amanda Larson, who's no longer here, which we're very sad about. And her first inclination was to take the arthresis screw out of his foot.
All right.
So we did that, and he went through all the physical therapy. And in the summer of 2017, I said to her, when is his foot not going to hurt? I said,
Still
"We're
hurting,
still
still
hurting,
pain."
still pain, still, stopping doing activities that he loves." And she was like, well, that was supposed to help. So back to the drawing board. At that point, they sent us to Madison. It was in Madison that we found out that he had a tarsal coalition. So his navicular and calcaneus bone were growing together in his foot.
I barely understood what you just said. You were giving out some terminology there that, and now it just rolls off
It
your
just
tongue.
yeah.
You must just live this.
Correct.
So
I've probably
something-
told the story 100 million times. Just everybody asks,
So
what happened to him?
something is going on.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we did some different testing in Madison and agreed that a surgery to fix the tarsal coalition would be the best option. He had that surgery in December of 2017. He recovered well from it. In March of 2018, he played in a basketball tournament, and for the first time since he was 5, and this was when he was almost 10, he told me his foot didn't hurt. That was probably the greatest thing I ever heard. That still is something that chokes me up because it was the first time. So 2 weeks after that basketball tournament, school called and said he hurt his foot. My husband went and got him, brought him home. At first they said he just sprained his ankle. The next morning we woke up and his foot was bright red. I told him that I said I had to go into work, and I said, I will call your pediatrician. I'll let you know. But if you need me sooner, your brother's downstairs. Just get your brother and call me. I went into work. I called his pediatrician and explained to her what I saw. She told me somebody would call me back within 15 minutes. It wasn't 15 minutes later that the orthopedics department called and said, be here by 11:15. My husband was on his way home to check on him for his lunch because he takes his lunch earlier. And I said, why don't you just pick me up? We'll go in, go to the appointment. It'll be fine.
Probably thinking appointment, prescription, back home.
Yeah, that's what we were thinking.
Initially, that's what
we
you
were
were thinking?
Oh, they'll look at his foot, tell us it's infected, give us some antibiotics.
Right.
Send it to the pharmacy. We'll go get it. We'll start him on him, and he'll be great. We got into that appointment, and it was not that. They did some x-rays just to look, and when she looked at me and said, when's the last time Keaton's had something to eat, I knew right then and there that
There's going to be
surgery.
surgery coming.
Quickly. I said, well, he hasn't eaten today because he doesn't feel good. At 3 o'clock, he was back in the OR cleaning out the infection in his foot. She told me it took over 2 liters of water to clean that infection out of his foot. He was in the hospital at that point for 5 days. And that's when we first heard about CMN, as the nurses told us about the meal vouchers and said, hey, don't forget to stop and get your meal vouchers, courtesy of CMN. It gives you money to go down to the cafeteria and eat, to take care of yourself.
So you had not heard of Children's Miracle Network prior to that?
No.
Okay. All right. Boy, you sure know about them now, don't you?
We sure do.
All right. So they're taking care of you.
Correct.
As mom and dad and family. Mm-hmm. All right.
And we came home on a Monday. He came home with a PICC line in his arm. We had that in for a couple days. They pulled it, switched him to oral antibiotics. 2 weeks later, we were into an appointment, and they told us everything looked good, his numbers were great, and we could stop the antibiotics. 5 days later, we were back in the emergency room. The infection was back. The first thing they told us is you're staying. So once again, back to the peds floor. Once again, they said, oh, about the food vouchers, that kind of thing. It was also during that time that we also, the Child Life Specialist, which is a huge program that CMN supports, came in and helped him or were there when they were doing procedures. At that point is when we learned that the infection was in his bone, and it had eaten a hole in the bone in his foot.
Devastating news.
And that was when we had to tell him that there was probably no sports for the summer. Because in the beginning they were like, oh, you might be able to play baseball. He just said, okay, I just need to get better. Never complained, never was upset. I think his positive attitude helped us get through it. He came home from that surgery and spending 5 days in the hospital with a PICC line in his chest and on at least 6 weeks of antibiotics. And we were in every week to have the bandage changed over his PICC line, plus to see orthopedics. And it was at one of those appointments that we were in getting the bandage changed that one of the nurses in the HEMOT clinic told us, have you talked to CMN about the help with gas cards or any other needs your family may have? And I told her, no, I didn't even know they did that. I just thought it was the food vouchers. So I had talked with one of the social workers, and they had gotten us gas cards just because we were here so often. And we had used up our vacation at work, being in the hospital with him, staying with him. Our employers were great. They let us take the time off we needed. But when you have no vacation left, it's unpaid. So those gas cards were a great help because we didn't have to worry how we were going to get gas in our car to get him to and from those appointments. Sometimes we were here 3 times a week. And
It
he
seems
was-
to me like you had enough worry and stress happening in your house, in your home, that something as beneficial as putting gas in your car or meals in your tummy as a family was huge at that
it
point.
was amazing because, I didn't have to think like what, between do I put gas in my car, do I do food on the table, do I pay this bill? I didn't have to worry about the gas. Those cards were provided to us. And it was, like I said, it's just life-saving when you have a child that has all these issues. And we made it to the beginning of June, and we went into one of his appointments, and not only were the infections back, but he had 2 new ones. It was at that point that the orthopedic doctor told us she couldn't close the wound, and we had to see plastic surgery. It was also at that point where we were supposed to get his PICC line pulled, and they told us, nope, you're going to be on antibiotics for at least another 6 weeks. We went to plastic surgery, and the first thing they did was schedule an appointment so the plastic surgeon could go in and see how much space she was looking that she had to fill in his foot from having the area that was infected removed, the tissues, all of that. They did that on June 13th of 2018. We went in the following week to see if the infection, what they tested, was gone. It was. On June 22nd, he had a pretty big surgery where they cut down the back of his leg, pulled the top layer muscle, and tucked it in. And he was on complete bed rest in the hospital for 2 weeks. And it was also during that time that the child life specialist entertained him. Emma and Rachel. Emma would go back to went back to his surgery with him and was counting for him to see how long he could make it. And Rachel was there every day to play with him or do an activity or something fun, just to keep his mind off of the fact that he was stuck in a bed for 2 weeks. He came home from that surgery on modified bed rest, which meant he could get up and go to the bathroom for about 3 weeks. The end of August, beginning of September, we started physical therapy. We progressed enough that in November of last year, they let him go back to basketball. We kept through physical therapy. He played baseball this year, but we also noticed that the pain was still there, and he was still having some issues. So just recently, he was diagnosed with muscle spasticity, and we get Botox injections in his leg every 12 weeks.
Are you seeing some good news from that, from the Botox, do you think?
Yeah, he did a running analysis before they did the Botox, and then about 2.5 weeks after. And the physical therapist said you could see a huge difference in that he was running normal, that his knee bent right, his leg. He's telling me he has less pain, or it's longer time before the pain sets in. So yeah.
You want your child to be pain-free.
Correct.
That's what this is all about. Still working at it.
Still working at it.
And now we talked a little earlier that one foot is growing a little more than the other one.
Correct.
Okay.
His left foot is somewhere between a 4.5 and a 5, and his right is at least a size 6. So there will be a time where we're going to start buying 2 sets of shoes, so
Yeah.
he has one that fits each foot.
Well, exactly. I mean, I'm not sure what else you would do with that.
Yeah.
We have 4 calls right now at 608-784-KIDS, 784-5437. Looking for more. I hear some activity going on at the Versity Blood Center of Wisconsin Phone Bank. So I think there's more calls coming in at this point.
That's amazing.
So we have 5 calls right now. See, another one did come in. Excellent. So what do you think's next? What's the next step?
We're going to hope that the Botox keeps working.
Okay.
I don't know what the next step is after
The
that.
infection is gone?
The infection is gone. There is no guarantee that it's 100% gone.
Okay.
So it is something that could come back at any time. And it could, as they told me at the appointment, it could be years, months, 10 years, 20 years. I kind of just looked at the doctor like, what? It's like, I thought with all the antibiotics he was on. Because even when they pulled that PICC line, he spent another 6 months on oral antibiotics. So I was like, oh, I thought it'd be gone. He's like, no, there's no guarantee that we can get every...
Part of
bug
the
out.
part of the origin of this, how all this started, a genetic. How did you find out that this was something that happened in a genetic scenario?
I think when we were in Madison and he told us what it was and he asked us, does anybody in your family have this? And at first we were like, I don't think so. He's like, are you sure? Because this is usually something genetic that comes over time that somebody has, or it's from when they were born. And after a while we realized that Tim's brother has it.
So it is a genetic
Correct.
disorder that has been in family members.
Correct.
You know, we have Organic Valley. Have you heard of Organic
Correct.
Valley?
Mhm.
They have a power hour happening this hour. We haven't talked about that yet, but we're going to talk about it right now, up to $1,000. So that means that when you call your pledge in now, it's going to go a lot further. Organic Valley jumping in this year. See? So somebody just now caught on to that. So Organic Valley providing matching funds up to $1,000. It's
That's
a power
amazing.
hour. It is amazing. When you get companies that say, you know what, I believe in Children's Miracle Network. I believe in what good it does, and they do things like this. 608-784-KIDS. That's 608-784-KIDS 5437. We are so happy to hear when those phones ring. We really don't hear them because they have these little tone things on them. But then when we hear the celebration, there's another one that came in, up to $1,000 Organic Valley Power Hour. Your money goes a lot further at 608-784-KIDS 784-5437. So after spending some time with you guys, here you are as heroes.
Correct.
You're a hero, buddy. You've been doing some hero work. We call it
have.
hero work.
Yes.
Tell me about what you've been up to. Mom, why don't you jump in? What have you been doing?
Let's see, we went camping for a weekend at Lake Neshonoc. They had a CMN weekend, and we got to go stay in a camper that they provided for us.
Oh, how was that? Was that fun?
That was fun.
You love camping? See any wildlife?
No.
Okay, sometimes you really see some
Yeah.
wildlife. Okay, so you did that.
We did that. We've done golf outings. He had fun at the golf outing.
Do you get to ride in a golf cart?
We did.
Oh,
we
there
did.
you go. That's the best part.
We did the logger game. Let's see what else? We did. We just went to the Viterbo Dance-a-thon. Last weekend we helped the UWL Dance-a-thon raise money at their parents' weekend.
That sounds like fun.
It was. We used his cuteness to help us.
Well, of course you did, because, because he's a charmer.
That's right.
That's right. Next weekend, I think there's a gaming event that's happening.
There is. I did see that.
Are you guys going to be able to make that? Rena's really excited about that.
What
I
else
think
is
it's going to
next
be big.
weekend?
I think it's going to be huge.
You don't know what next weekend is?
No.
Isn't it your 12th birthday?
Oh.
Oh, that's right. You have a birthday coming up.
You do.
Well, happy birthday.
Thank you.
All right. Anything else that you would like to, anything else you'd like to pass along?
No,
How about
just
one
call
more
in and
request to
donate.
call? Yeah.
Because you never know when it's going to be you that needs that help. We never expected this to happen, but they've been here with us and supported us, and it's amazing.
I can't think of a better reason that. Keaton, thanks for spending some time with us today. You're a good man. Keep up the good work. Heal up. You've got a great family and a support system behind you. You're listening to the CMN Hospital's Radiothon. Put your money where the miracles are, a service of the La Crosse Radio Group.
Thank you, Joni. Oh, what a great family. Absolutely right. And yes, Organic Valley still matching this hour up to $1,000. We got a little bit of ways to go, so let's keep the phones ringing here. We're going to be here for another 20 minutes, and then we'll be back tomorrow 8 to 2. But I'd love to close out today on a real high note and hit that match from Organic Valley at our Versity phone bank. 608-784-KIDS, 784-5437. That is the number to call. Organic Valley, matching up to $1,000. Make the phones ring and do it right now. Let's get out of here on a high note today. Please call right now. Be a part of it. The Children's Miracle Network Hospital's Radiothon on Kix 106.3.